pension day and I had to venture into the world. It made me a bit angry. Anyway. What did I even start this for? Oh, that's right. I've been thinking, overthinking, but I kind of thought you probably should really stop and think about what I'm telling you in regards to the person that I portrayed myself as and who you're dealing with in your day-to-day life, especially who you're going to seek help off. Any kind of therapy, any kind of help from a friend, just because I always have been a bright, bubbly, funny, personable, friendly, helpful, good friend. I made my fuck ups in my life, but I've always been able to get along with sort of anyone. I have had a lot of short-term friends through the public service because they had the grad rotation, right? We used to get like 3 or 4 grads every year. Or at least 2, but I think it was 3. So, we had a lot of young people coming through, not even young, but we had a lot of people coming through. And, people would do secondments. We'd have people coming in from other offices. Like, I met a lot of people through the public service, and I did make a lot of friends, short-term ones. Which now, looking back, was probably really good for my, I don't know. Anyway, what I'm saying is, I was really, I've fucked up a few times with the meth and stuff, but I was a really hard worker. Sometimes. There was too little work to do in Perth, so we were literally bored. I don't even know how they managed to get 2 admin staff over there, but we literally didn't have enough work to do. So, and I'm a do-all everything girl Friday, so I found stuff to do, but we just didn't really have enough work to do. So boredom breeds mischief, I think. Anyway, from the outside, despite the times when I did sort of falter, it was literally about 1.5 years in Perth, but, and probably was a bit lower when I was breaking up with my other fella off and on, like as in when it was, over. But, when I went back to Canberra after the meth, I worked really hard. Yeah, I'm just saying, and then, after I moved up north, I got into spirituality, so I did Reiki way back in, 2004, 2005, I think. I can't even remember why now. Another one of those things that you just do, right? So, I don't know, maybe when I moved up north, after seeing other people doing these things and going and seeking help from spiritual people and card readers and fucking whatever, psychics, I don't know, I started to buy into it maybe and thinking that would be a good cover, perhaps, to be doing something good, right? And these people literally believe, well, they said that they felt something, but who knows? Who knows who they even were? Did they even know who they were? Did I really know who they were? It's all just like, whatever. Doesn't matter now. But I was buying into it. But I was pretending now, I realised, right? All these things that I was sticking, all these feathers that I stick in my cap, I think about it every time now when I'm walking and I put a feather in my cap, right? I'm like, oh, another feather in my cap. That's all I've been doing my whole life, is putting feathers in my cap to try and be someone, paint a picture. But once I got up north, I think, yeah, maybe it just rubs off on you wherever you are. You kind of just, so, I was so proud of myself when I set up my healing room and all of these spiritual journeys I went on. I did have one thing when I, my quantum healing was extremely trippy, but it could have just been trips, or it could, yeah, who knows. But, then I did the ayahuasca 2-day, thought I released all this crap. The next night I meditated when I had the mother drank it. And I went up because I always go up. That's what they said to do in the quantum healing, right? You go up to the 5th dimension in an elevator, but whatever. Supposedly that's where your spirit guides are, okay? So anyway, I did a meditation, went up. I hadn't meditated like that for a long time. But you got to wait for it to kick in, and I thought, I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to go within, internalize. So I was in a pool of golden water, and there was all these golden figures around me, but I was black, right? My figure was black. Of course, always looking from third person outside of myself. Same as my memories. And they were scraping, like, jugs of golden water, scraping this black off, and sort of underneath, slowly I could see the gold coming through. And then finally, when it was all off, I went down into the water, burst out with wings, and was all golden, and went straight up to another level, and then all these gold figures came around me. And then this fucking bitch started screaming her head off. She was faking it, right? Now, I didn't know at the time. People don't stick their fingers down their throat trying to pretend like they're spewing when they're having a fucking anxiety be gone. It wasn't real. But she pulled me out of that fucking meditation. God. Anyway, was it a meditation? I don't know. Whatever. I experienced something. But the word, when I went up and these figures were around me right before this bitch started screaming, I heard the word initiate, right? So we're talking about it the next day, and I tell them of my experience. But in my head, I'm thinking, I've been through my initiation. I've come out on the other side, and my life's finally going to be okay because I've done whatever I'm supposed to do to be happy, right? Been celibate, stayed away, not partying, no man, no, really giving up everything, trying to be something good. Not to myself, to everyone else though, right? So we all like, oh, you've got these inner voices, and fucking no. Everything I did was for other people and to appear a certain way, I guess. So I'm just saying you should be worried, as in about anyone that was like me, very nice, too nice probably at the beginning, funny, confident, but, someone who might sort of make you feel a little bit uncomfortable with their joking, right? But they'll be funny. So, anyone who cries a lot for no reason, they're struggling with the situation because they don't know what to do. It's not that they're struggling with their own feelings. It's because they're struggling with your feelings and they don't know what the fuck to do about it. And I think it's the same for people who fly off the handle and get quite angry very easily. I think it's the same thing. They don't know how to deal with the outside. So they go to their emotion that is supposed to control the situation, and for them it's anger. So I think for men it's usually anger, but it's very common in women too. And I think the crying is very, very common in women, and probably starts when you're a child. We've all been traumatized if we've watched telly when we're kids, right? It's that simple. The violent images have an effect. We don't have, it wires our brain incorrectly in relation to violence, and desensitizes us, but attaches it to humor a lot of the times, especially in cartoons. Violence and humor are automatically connected when you're a child if you have watched cartoons like that. And then once you have watched telly, so you just think about it, it's traumatizing yourself every time, theoretically. Every time you look at a violent image or ingest some violent information or whatever, you're probably, theoretically, I think you are traumatizing yourself. And I don't think you become desensitized to it. I think the trauma just deepens and deepens. And you're putting layers and layers of trauma on top of the old trauma. Maybe it's to cover the trauma. I don't know. Maybe we like to feed ourselves with the thing that traumatized us. I don't know, to try and understand it, or maybe it is familiar to us, so that's why we like to watch violent movies. talking about people too. This is the other thing you need to be careful with, people sucking you in. So I've realized in my family, but multiple perpetrators. So a perpetrator would bring another perpetrator in to abuse another one or two, whatever. But if you can make somebody a partner in your crime, right, they're going to keep your secret because they're then involved. And that goes with anything. You can involve somebody in your crime, they are automatically guilty, and they will more likely to keep your secret. More likely. Not guaranteed. Anyone will throw you on the bus to save their own ass. And anyone with kids is a liability. So, off again. Backtrack. What were we talking about? That's right. Involving people in your crime. So this is kind of the same with gossip, right? Especially so this is the narcissistic thing. I'm just saying watch out for this. If, it's especially a narcissistic ploy with the bullying. If someone new is on the scene or if someone is vulnerable, the narcissist will involve other people in just gossip, but talking about them, putting them down, trying to paint a bad picture of that person. So just be wary that if somebody's kind of bad-mouthing someone that you don't know very well, and you've maybe just met them or they've just come on the scene, if you do succumb to that gossip, but if you throw in anything that's slightly negative, if you buy into their fantasy of that person being bad, evil, yucky, bitchy, whatever, if you buy into that fantasy and then add information and say, oh yeah, well, I saw this the other day, rah, rah, rah. That's all you have to say, right? That person's then got control over you for the rest of that, whatever that relationship with that person. Because just think about it. If you then do kind of become friends with that person or have any kind of business relationship or whatever, maybe your kids are at school together and you've got to see them regularly. You don't know. You might have to work with them. But if you've already slagged them off to someone that you can't trust, who was just pretty much baiting you and putting you in a position where you were powerless, because therefore then forever on, you're going to know when you're with that other person that you were bitching about, right? You're going to know. You're going to go, oh, I said that about that person and that other person knows. And if then you realise that the other person was just kind of data mining you and setting you up, then you get scared, and then you're going to bond with that other person just to save your ass. You'll burn the person you've been bitching about, not because you don't like them, because you didn't know them at the time, but the other person's already put you in a circle of being the enemy and has information that then they could then share with that person one day, and kind of fuck it up for you. Then you might have to face the truth and say, I did say that about you, and you're not going to want to say that. So anyway, just be careful with the gossip and shit, right? Especially if it's somebody you don't know real well, or they're bitching about someone you don't know real well, because they're trapping you into saying something, or they're fishing for info. But once you've slagged someone off to someone else, that's done. That person's always going to know that you said it, and they're always going to have that thing to hold over your head. So just be careful with that too. You got to be careful of people like I was, who seem way too nice and fluffy and innocent and on this healing journey, and maybe a bit reclusive, maybe on the bit high and mighty path all the time, doing things that seem impossible, but really helpful, always there for you, healing people, offering assistance, offering help. I don't know. Just be careful. There are charlatans out there a lot of them who are deliberately, this is people, I'm not talking about just healers, this is people, charlatans, who are just there to trick you. But there's a lot of people out there that are just like me and you, who don't really know who they are or have been traumatized when they were young. And they don't really know it. I think we've all been with TV, honestly, seriously. And then if your parents didn't let you watch TV when you were a kid, that would have been traumatizing in itself, because everyone's allowed to, right? It's like having a candy jar and saying, no, you can't have a candy. Put a TV in the house, but no, you can't watch it. That kid's like watching it, looking at it, knowing that it's got moving pictures if you just press a button, but they're not allowed to watch it. That's abuse too. I mean, you can't win. We're stuck. We're all trapped in a body, in a place that we didn't ask to be. So, I mean, get this, after my quantum healing, I was so fucking having these meditations. I thought I knew so much. I was listening to all these fucking podcasts and shit, right? Third eye, shit like that. And my friend was like, ask me something, text me. And I said, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to ascend in this lifetime, right? I'm done. My soul's going to ascend. Because I've seen the light and I'm on the path, right? I'm meditating. I've had my quantum healing and I've seen the other side. I've seen what's out there and whatever. Godlike. Very, very godlike. But then she says to me, I think I'm going to come back next life and stay here and help the humans. And I'm like, is that godlike as well, do you think? Perhaps. So, same, different. Same, different. She's a narcissist, I'm a psychopath. But everyone's a narcissist, and I think everyone's a psychopath. On some kind of spectrum. Today. This day and age. Now. But they don't know it. But they've been severely traumatized. In so many ways. Generationally as well. Societal. Just everything. But yeah. So then, just like, think about it. If you meet someone who was like me, who seems really, really nice and blah, 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 look out. They might not even know who they are, and they might just be trying to pretend to be what you want them to be without even realizing it. And they might be on some grandiose fucking I am the light and the way because they had some fucking spiritual awakening. And they think that whatever they saw was real and that no one else saw it, so it's really special, right? So yeah, anyway, just be careful. I mean, I grew up with monsters hiding everywhere, in plain sight, everywhere. So you need to be aware that if I grew up in a large circle of people and there was monsters hidden everywhere, there's monsters hidden everywhere, statistically, right? You just don't know it, and I think you turn a blind eye to it because it's easier, but they're everywhere, okay? You need to understand they come in all shapes and sizes and all different forms, and they're usually hiding in places where you're going to kind of not suspect it, right? You're not going to suspect it because they're really good at mimicking and pretending to be something that you want to see, and if you have sought them out for something, you're there already, all right? You've already bought into the lie before you even meet that person. If you've made an appointment or looked them up or whatever. Someone recommended them. But you're already, hooked into the illusion. And you will buy into it if you are a lost person and you're looking for an answer from that person because you've already succumbed to it before. Well, when you started looking, before you even started looking for them. It's not really that hard to get your head around, I don't think, when you break it down to the basics. But if you can break it down to the plain and simple fact that everybody has been traumatized and they don't know it, then you can look into maybe the kind of people that you're dealing with every day, all day, everywhere, are just on different levels and different spectrums of different things, but there's all trauma. So, yeah, it's just something that you should be aware of. I'm the opposite of what I thought I was, the complete opposite of what I thought I was. So a lot of the people out there who seem really nice could possibly, very likely, be the exact opposite of what they're portraying. And that's all you need to remember. Don't trust anyone.